That's right. It's time for something that I can tell you right now is so exciting. La Femme is a lot great this year. It's great every year, but these two bring it together along with all the great ones that we're interviewing this. And I will say this, Dominique, Brianna, I'm sorry, Brenna, you guys got some pretty interesting things going on. This particular thing that you put together is something that people are going to go, wait a minute. And it's called I Can't Go On, created for Vancouver, which I know people there, which will probably appreciate this. It says famous crazy eights. What is that for people that are like, what?
It's definitely famous for Vancouver, and thank you so much for having us, Aaron. We're really pleased to be talking with you about I Can't Go On. Crazy Eights, it's a filmmaking challenge in Vancouver, BC, and essentially it's a competitive selection process where usually around 130 different teams apply, and from there they're kind of selected through different we do an in-person pitch and a writing pitch and all of these different pitches. And eventually it's brought down into 6 teams. One of us was our side here. And from there, we get to move forward with the film. And all of the filming and editing have to be completed in 8 days. So it's quite an intense process for a short.
Okay, first of all, I will say that's pretty good right there. Dominique, look, you obviously, how do you two work together? Like, is it like symbiotic? Is it kind of like easy? Do you have disagreements? No one ever wants to say disagreements, but I guarantee you there are disagreements.
Actually, I feel really lucky. This script was brought to me when Brenna was in the top 40. And so she needed a producer to come on to start getting her to move forward through the process. And right off the bat, I mean, the story was incredible and I was ready to go. And I had the most amazing production team. I wouldn't say we ever had disagreements, truly, but we definitely faced challenges. And we did that as a team. And sometimes that meant, having a good rant session on the phone, trying to figure stuff out. But truly, we worked as a collective.
Okay, and I love that you said that because sometimes, and people don't understand this. It takes a lot of people to make it right, but sometimes there are little bumps along the way. I hate bumps. I'm like, get over that, man. But sometimes they just happen. It's called scheduling. But when you do it in 8 days, that's a lot of stress, man. They have shows on that, like when you put a team together and then you do it in 8 days. So, like, what would be your answer if you had like maybe a whole month or maybe a couple of months to do what you did?
Oh my goodness. It's hard to kind of imagine. A lot of the short when I wrote it was intended to be that very short turnaround. So we kind of built it to be that quick. And that was really fortunate. We only have a few locations, all of which were built by our incredible production design team in only a matter of days. With the exclusion, we have one scene that's briefly in a stairway, but everything else from our hallway to our elevator was built by our incredible team of volunteers. So it really was a very quick turnaround. I think if we had had a month, we would have played around and made it, even weirder. But I'm really quite happy with it being a product of 8 days. I think it also kind of adds to some of the tension that we have in our narrative. A lot of this kind of intense, surreal horror, I think, in some ways mirrors the kind of the frantic 3 days of filming that we had. But at the same time, we were incredibly organized thanks to our amazing team and thanks to people like Dominique who really just spearheaded so much of this project in the early days and making sure that we had just a fantastic group of people who were just excited to be there and to lend their creativity to an idea that we were all very passionate about.
Would you do it again?
You know what? I would definitely. I think in a lot of ways, it's nice to be able to have a film that's done in only 8 days. I know, going through filmmaking and doing other projects, there's always, months and months of editing, months of different work. So to have a film completely done, and granted, you won't sleep for 8 days, but it's absolutely worth it. It's an incredible process. And you get to meet amazing people. Dominique and I, when we met just before Crazy 8 started, we knew we wanted to work together on something, and Crazy 8 was just the perfect vehicle. And I think it taught both of us a great deal in a kind of an amazing organization of just going through different workshops, working through different things. And now that we're working on other projects, we both have amazing perspectives on what needs to get done and how quickly it can get done when it needs to get done.
Yeah, and I love that. I'm so glad you said that. Dominique, do you agree? Because I know Sherry says, so you're like, what else am I going to say, right?
Yeah, no, I would do it again. When you said, what would you do if you had a month? I'm like, I can do a feature. Let's do it. Like, we could do this for sure. We've got the chops, we know. So we shot the film in 3 days and then edited it in 5. And so, I mean, I feel with a month, I the limit. Let's go.
Yeah, and I think it's if anything, I don't know why people like they stop at the one that they do. You go, okay, because if I had the money, I'd be like, if you could do it in that little time, I'm going to give you this amount of time, but do it the same way you did. Then we're under budget rather than over budget, right? Because
Yeah.
you figure out really quick. You go, how come they take that long to do that? And then even Marvel would be like, we want to hire you,
I mean, I wouldn't say no. But, I think it's given us the tools to handle any project. And I've produced a few things since then, and Brenna's directed a few things since then. And I really think it makes you incredibly scrappy, and we can put together a team really quickly and get things in the can quickly. So I feel very proud of the team.
Yeah, and Brenna, I know you guys put together pretty good stuff, but for those that are going to watch it, what is the thing that you go, okay, you got it. That's what we're trying to do. Because sometimes it gets like, because when you know it's that little time, you go, okay, I get it. Because and there's always something that is missed. You go, oh shoot, we should have put it there because we just thought they would get it. Is there anything like you're like, no, it's about this?
I think we were really fortunate to find just a group of people who were very much on board and very early on understood what we were trying to do with the script. It is a surreal horror, and it is about an alienated woman and the body she discovers in an apartment elevator, left to fester under the heels of her unconcerned neighbors. So we're dwelling in a lot of different ways in decay and horror, but at the same time we're dealing with a lot of kind of more abstract material, much like the title of our film, which comes from a Samuel Beckett quote. So we're dealing with a lot of different kind of elements, and it was amazing to see our crew come together, even in the early stages, and picking up on those things and being excited to expand on those things, and to just kind of go all in with it. And again, as your previous question about having a month, absolutely, I think so much of our team to have more time to spend on this story would have been amazing. But I'm very excited with what we were able to do, and we were able to do it there were no kind of sacrifices, I think, of content at any point. We all got what we wanted, and we got to showcase everybody in different kind of interesting ways. And yeah, we're incredibly proud of this film and the work that we do with it now.
And it pushes you, right? It pushes you to like really get it. And you're like, look, if we could do it in that little time, what would we do with more time? And I say, oh, reshoot that, So is there, because sometimes that, you show it, you go, everybody's already seen it. I go, yeah, but not everybody's seen it because there's like how many people in the world? Seriously, billions, So I go, whoever's seen it, good. But you could probably go next level, especially if you do like, okay, how many minutes is this?
This film? It's 12 minutes and 11 seconds.
Okay, so if you could have a full maybe hour and like what would be the if you could do it all the way, you know what I mean? Like pretend it's like one of those short stories, but it's like a feature coming in a way soon. How many minutes would do it?
It's funny you say that. I'm currently working on a film version, on a feature length version of I Can't Go On. So I definitely am expanding it. It's more of a spiritual sequel though. So it's less about a body in an elevator and more about the apartment building as a whole. So the way I think of it, it's kind of another floor, a different story, but same building. So that would be something I would expand on. Essentially, if anything, this short would be sort of the prologue to entering into this feature that is focusing on a very similar environment and very similar themes. It shares the title as well, but really just having fun in expanding those and kind of making a very industrial Gothic piece that I think would be reflexive of much of the same things as our short. Our short, we really wanted the body to represent things such as, climate change and individuals facing homelessness crisis, especially the housing crisis in Vancouver, which is where we're from, Vancouver, Canada. I know it's a prevalent issue globally, but it's certainly something we're very conscious of here. And at the same time, we wanted the body to just be a body as well. So I think it's something that's personalized to the viewer based on their own biases and background. And that's something I think if we had, that whole month and a larger budget and all of those things, that would be something I would want to expand on, really just building those ideas.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you teamed up. I have a writer there that's actually in Canada, but if she's unavailable, she's currently in Europe. So she's doing, I am so that right now. And I'm like, whatever. Anyway, keep it going because I don't think people understand. You guys get good credits there for being, Canadian, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys never promote that. You got to be like, for hire, hello. So, all right. Seriously, at the film festival, they say that. I had one guy say, there's credits there. I said, oh, that's good. He goes, no, you don't get it. I'm a writer. Even if you did like a script, I can write with you and you get credits. I'm like, you need a job, don't you? And so that's the answer. But anyway, all right. Thank you for making it with us and keep it going. All right. And thank you for bringing it to La Femme. You can get your tickets. All the information's right there. We'll stream it right here. Here it is. There you go. lafemme.eventive.org. There it is. And there's the information. So get your tickets. There's, I think they're on sale this year. Anyway, that might be last year's, but there you go. There's the information. All right. So make sure you go and support the film people because, man, they need it. You need to get it seen, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aaron. Appreciate it.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll
Thank you so much.
More. Yeah, that's right. We'll be right back. We have with us Stephanie, and Stephanie, look, you got some pretty good things. This is a script, and I love script because I'm always like, I need like someone who can like read a script and then say, I need that different. I go, perfect, because I've been wondering about that. Do you ever get that? Like when you write something and you go, because it's called Iron. I'll let you say it, and there's a website with it, right?
Yes, it's called Iron Phallus, so ironphallus.com. It's an adult animated comedy script.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that. Now, why is it iron? And I guarantee because it's something that I'm like, it's never the title, but maybe it is. Go ahead.
No, it's what you think it is.
Yeah, I knew
it. So he's a purple talking superhero penis.
There it is. We're out, folks. So thank you for making it a great day. And there you go. Look, and there's a reason, right? Let's talk about the reason, obviously, because it's always like right there in your face. You're like, I didn't know that's what they meant. It is. And it's in culture, actually. There's a lot of like Vikings and there's a lot of like, there's a bunch that actually know that. But let's call it a phallus. Let's call it that, right?
Yeah, that's the scientific name for him.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
The phallus? Yes.
Let's talk to me about that because I guarantee there's people like, wait, what?
So phallus is a scientific name for a penis. So the story follows Steve, he's a brilliant scientist at a secret government lab, and he's been having trouble in the dating world since his divorce. So he wishes he was a superhero. And since they all have to have like some gruesome accident or something horrible happen, he has the horrible accident where he falls on a tray of chemicals and stem cells, since that's kind of his specialty. And at the end of the episode, his penis develops the ability to move and talk, and he calls himself Darius.
I don't know what to do with that, guys. I don't, and I'm a guy. Okay, here's the thing. Steph. Obviously, you did, and I think there's a couple channels that would take that because that's the type of humor I think it is, right?
Oh yes, it's definitely like very big mouth meets
adult.
Superman.
Adult Swim would take it, right?
It's adult, yes.
They would take it. 100%. I think they have something like that. All right, so look, something for everyone. Okay, Steph, quick question. Obviously, why?
What inspired it? It's actually inspired by my nerdy scientist boyfriend.
It would be
the main character, the one that the penis is attached to, he's very shy, quiet, nerdy, and of course Darius is the complete opposite. He's loud, he's foul-mouthed, and he just wants to get out there and see everyone, expose himself as much as possible.
That's what you do when you have an iron. I guarantee there's someone that go, can I have that? Okay, here's a question that I have. We're sold that show right now. Okay, look, obviously, La Femme is about everything. And guys, you got to get in on this because, if there is like something, and you mentioned stem cells, it's interesting. So I think your guy has something. He goes, yeah, it makes sense. because people use like I'm going. I'm so out of it right now. Okay. Look, here's the thing. Here, I think we have a question for the audience. Here it is. Why? Oh, I need to go there and I need to get that. You could be a poster child for something. Is this? I know it's okay. What do you intend for it to be on? Yeah. Who's going to take it? That's the question.
Well, like I said, it's very similar to like a Big Mouth where it's for adults. So, like you said, Netflix, HBO, Showtime, one of those streamers, maybe Adult Swim after 11 p.m.
No, all the time. You're right. Netflix has a bunch of those. I got the
Yeah.
reference now. I didn't know that. I don't watch those. But okay. Here's a question that I have for you. Okay, and that's why I say it's all over the place, you guys. I mean, you can do anything on any subject. Obviously, they say keep it G, and I say yeah, we are radio. But my God. So here's a question that I have for you, Steph. Here's a question. Okay, you could take any idea and make it a thing, huh?
Just about, I think, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. Okay, so I have a question. You're okay. The one who came up with the idea, is he on the script? Is he the character? Is he the superhero?
Well, so he inspired the character.
Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough.
So the character recently went through a divorce. He lives in LA. Dating is hard as it is, but it's harder when you've kind of lost your confidence after a bad breakup. So Darius helps him get out of his shell, get out of his comfort zone. And along the way helps him actually become the superhero that he always wanted to be.
Yeah. What's his powers again?
So Darius is a phallus that can move and talk. And then Steve actually develops the ability to like have superhuman strength and speed. So they're it's almost two superheroes hooked together.
I say put together. That's how they were put together.
Like the Odd Couple if they were physically attached to each other.
That's a weird conversation. Does he look down all the time, or does he just like la la la? And they go, "Stop it! Shut up! Let me handle it." Because there's movies on that.
Yeah, they do argue.
I know a guy like that. I'm dating a guy like that, right?
The two characters they have completely different personalities, so there's a lot of conflict that comes up.
I got some. Are there villains in this? Like, who does he fight? Like, and who does he fight for? Really? Is it?
The main villain is somebody else in the lab who's like a secret spy, and so at the end of the first season, he tries to take over the lab, but Steve, with the help of Darius, are able to stop him
because he wants to iron the same, right? I think there are a bunch of people that would fight for that. Look, I'm a guy. I get that. Okay, so here's the thing, and I have a question, Steph. Seriously, you opened up the box, and I'm about to put it all in. So here's the thing. I'm so glad I'm out of time. Here's the thing, and I have a question. Okay, here it is. You ready? If you were a superhero, what kind of superhero would you be?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think I'd kind of be like the Phoenix from X-Men.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that because I have
no, that's different. No, I want the telekinesis powers and all that stuff. Yeah, I would not choose the superhero penis, but
yeah, they're so weak when you think about it. Like, there's a reason you want to do iron because it. But here's the question: does it get little again? Does it stay all the time? Do they have different sizes?
Well, he can.
What people are asking the question, I guarantee it.
Well, when he takes Viagra, he hulks out, so he gets enormous.
How he iron when? Oh, I thought he was like a piece of iron
because it like supercharges his superpowers.
Right, like
kind of like Popeye eating spinach.
Let's go to the science of it. I think you're okay. Let's say this. Okay, stem cells. He falls, and I think there's the science there. And stem cells do have a way of making things. Do you know they actually inject things into to make it? What? It's a thing. I know.
It is a thing. You can grow totally new organs with stem cells.
You can.
So that's what happens. He falls on the glassware and it causes cuts and burns, and then the stem cells grow like a new nervous system where the injury occurred.
Is he loyal to a woman or does he not care?
Darius, at first he doesn't care, but later he gets kind of attached to something.
There's a film on that, isn't there? He's the Green Lantern guy, isn't it? Like he has every woman, and then they just want one thing to get with the next guy because he's a lucky charm for them. You could do that. Okay, got it. I got the.
Well, Darius is an every woman kind of guy, but Steve is looking for one woman.
Okay, I'm so confused.
So that's part of the conflict. The scientist is
Does he
looking
literally
for
start
love.
speaking in the middle and go, "My name's Darius," or is he go? So Steve is the guy, and Darius is the
Yeah,
right.
Steve is the scientist. Darius is the phallus.
No, that makes
The
sense.
iron
Okay.
phallus.
All right. So who did the voiceover here? I mean,
Well,
right.
this is the
Who's going to
script.
do the voiceover? Yeah, I get that. But when it gets done, who's going to do who's the voice for this in your head?
For the iron phallus, I see like a very deep voice.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like a chef from South Park, kind of low voice. And then
Right.
the scientist, like a very
I want to read this.
high, nerdy. Yeah.
Can we do a read on this? It's already out there, right? It's registered, right?
It is, and it's on. I have it on ironphallus.com.
We got to do like a voiceover thing. I guarantee I could do a voice like that. I'm
Oh yeah, it'd be great with the voice, with
I could
like
go
the
very
right
deep.
voices.
Yeah, man. You know, like I know it doesn't work when I'm on camera. Anyway, all right. I want to see the script. There it is. It's nominated for a reason, and there is a audience. Okay, so there you go. That's the answer. Steph, thank you for. I guarantee people are going to say why do you know? Just keep it. Don't say the P word. There's something about that people just are not ready for. But I don't know. Anyway, Steph, thank you for doing it, and thank you. What's the next script for you? Can you make it on something? You know, it's not all about this guy, is it? Like, you know, he goes on a dating spree, doesn't he?
So I've written some other scripts. I have
Okay.
a feature called "The Florida Man Conspiracy."
What made you submit this particular one? Just out of curiosity, just out of all the scripts you could do.
So, I mean, I started writing it last year and it all just poured out in about a month and a half. And I started submitting it to festivals and it's been selected for several now.
It's a good script.
Mm-hmm.
Adult Swim.
And I also have a short that I co-wrote called The Inflection Scheme, which is playing at Film Quest later in the month. You can see the trailer on theinflectionscheme.com. So if you're interested in that.
I am. What kind of girls does the iron, guy attract? Like,
well, he has to kind of pretend that he doesn't have the ability to talk, but he kind of messes it up sometimes.
Right.
He goes for pretty
always
much
do.
anyone.
They
Pretty much
always do.
anyone.
Guys are like, why? They say he has a mind of his own. I say
he has a mind of his own, literally.
Makes sense. Okay, that gets to be a problem eventually because you're like, yo, Venom did it. Think about it. Venom's like, hey, nobody thinks about that. What happens when Venom is there when he with the girl? I like that girl. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, we got. I'm so off this. All right, thank you, Steph. We interview them all, okay? But keep it going, okay? And again, for those like interested, they could go look at it right. I guarantee there's an audience for this. It's called ironphallus.com. There it is. I said it.
Yep, ironphallus.com. And I've also been doing some little short comic strips. And so you can also find those on Global Comics with an X.
I now need a job, guys, because I guarantee they're going to say, why are you over there at ABC doing this?
If you want to get an idea of how the two characters interact, I've done a few little comic
killed my
strips.
career, Steph. You have no idea. I'm ready for a job. Adult, you hiring? All right, Steph. Thanks for making it with us, and thank you. And keep it, what you're doing, okay? Because I guarantee you're going to be hired. All right?
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
We'll be back with more right after this.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
We're here with Jane. Jane, look, you got something going on, and I love La Femme. La Femme, we have you here with us, Jane, and obviously it's called Three Birthdays, and it's based in well, I'll let you kind of give the way it is, because I think I'm just going to,
It takes place in 1970 at the height of the sexual revolution, which is very important for the plot. And it's about a family, about a 17-year-old girl and her college professor parents. And they seem to be a sort of happy family until the sexual revolution has an effect on them, which sends all of their lives into total chaos.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. Nobody likes being like, the person in the room that goes, there's always a problem at some point. And it's called something's going to happen, when it comes to and people forget, it's fun for a while. or it's, but maybe it's fun for a little and then not fun for a while. But let's talk about that, Jane. Obviously, where does it go eventually? Because you hit it. People don't, and there's a lot of young ones that don't even understand what happened with the sexual revolution. What was that?
Well, basically, it started when the pill was approved in 1960. And then people could have sex without consequence. And it changed everybody's sexual practices in multiple generations for a long time, basically up until the early 80s when AIDS came along, and then suddenly everybody was afraid of sex again.
Yeah, and a lot of, I did not know what the sexual revolution was. I didn't know it had to do, because now the pill's like, again, a thing, but it's the opposite now. So okay, I have a question, Jane. I have a question. Obviously, this is very, let's talk about the film. Obviously, the film is very interesting, and it's here at La Femme. And the story, how did it come across you? Did you just like go, oh, I want to write this? Did it happen? Like, how did this happen?
Well, I grew up during this period, so I was very excited by everything that was going on, from the sexual revolution to feminism and the Black Power movement, the anti-war movement. It was just a very, very exciting time, not unlike our time right now. And so I wanted to make a film about that period, but it's not based on my life, although my mother was a feminist. My mother was a feminist politician, and so I'm sure I got some of that from her. But it was about a time that was very personal for me. But again, it's not autobiography.
Well, and I appreciate you kind of bringing it to, because I never put it together why. Like all of a sudden, you said it, like when AIDS came out, all of a sudden people were afraid, but there's always consequences. And people think there's no consequences, right? But that's a story. It's always a story, because sometimes people go, oh, it's all about love, it's all about peace, and it's all about lots of what. But then there are the children of that, right? Like the time period, and then there's the relationships that are broken up, or the relationships that go together, or there's people that I had a conversation with someone. I said, you don't understand consequences, and they said, well, whatever. And I said, no, you don't get it. Like sometimes there's consequences long term, and they go, well, that's too serious. I go, no, that's the story. So what's the story, and why birthdays? What happens?
What happens in the film? Well, I don't want to give too much away. There are a lot of big surprises, but it's about this family. And I'll give away one thing, that basically the daughter finds out, upon losing her virginity, she finds out that her mother is having an affair, and she can't handle this. And the family goes into crisis, basically.
I've heard of that happening. And you go, I like, what's the solution? There is no solution. Or there is a solution, but it's called just let it go. It's going to happen, with or without you knowing, so you look, Jane, thank you for taking a very serious subject and doing something with it. Obviously you're doing a lot of stuff, and do you have anything else in the works?
I'm working on a new project that I'm writing, which is about the art world.
Okay, love it. Okay, thank you so very much, Jane, and thank you for keeping it, what it is, and thank you for bringing it to La Femme, which there are serious subjects handled here, and some of them are fun, and some of them are just, you never know. So, Jane, thank you for spending time with us here at La Femme.
Thank you. Bye.
We have with us Jane, and did we start on you, Jane? What's going on?
I know that man.
Yeah, that's Jim. Jim. All right. Look, you guys work together, obviously. You should cut star, poor thing. Look, you guys did something really good. It's really amazing. It's called Acting Like Nothing Is Wrong. It's a feature documentary about someone that a lot of people, they don't know a lot about.
Well, yes, and it all started with my fascination with Jim's unusual story, very discombobulated story of foster care, abuse, not a very stable childhood. And where does that take you? So I take you on his journey, or he takes us on his journey. And one of the really cool things is that part of that journey was taken while we were filming.
Well,
So-
and Jim, can you talk about that? Because it's really, is it on your life or is it someone's life or whose life is this?
It's all about him.
It's about me.
Okay.
And as I like to say, my humble beginnings to my rise to the middle out here in Hollywood.
And Hollywood's, oddly enough, it's always the same story in a different way. But Jim, when this happened and you were like, okay, sure, why not? What was that like? Because sometimes people are like, I want to hide that. And then some people are so frontal, they lose. I don't know if you saw the whole, they're writing about anyway, people are writing stuff and they're putting stuff out there and you go, whoa, didn't know that it's a secret, but it's not a secret anymore. What did you approve and what did you go, should we put that out there?
I made a point pretty early on of approving pretty much anything. I don't think anything came up where I said, that's a little, that's a little much or anything like that. Because it's not, after all, it's not my, vanity project. I'm just, as I keep saying, I'm just a boy singer in the band. So it's, I'm not, co-directing or any of that. So I tried, particularly as an actor, I think from my perspective as an actor, I tried to just be as open as I could be and as helpful as I could be to the project.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're open about that because everybody's story is different. But when you do a real life story, you go, whoa. And I'm looking, I'm not gonna lie, Jim. I'm a fan of stuff you've been in, Mentalist. You've been in stuff people have seen Castle, Gilmore Girls, and a lot. And sometimes you say, oh, it's big, and sometimes it's little, and sometimes it's a character. But being in the biz for as long as you have, what is it about your story that rings different than all the rest?
What a good question.
Well, I would like to answer that because I'm the one that thought that his story would be so helpful to other people because he is who he is. And he was, by the way, really agreeable and very sweet about allowing some touchy scenes to be okay. But to me, Jim's story was really unique, but it also speaks to anybody who's had any trauma, which is pretty much everybody, because trauma clearly can be huge and catastrophic. It can also be, my cat died and I didn't, it took me a long time to get over it. We all have trauma. I really wanted Jim's story, but I wanted other people to see themselves. And I think we've done that. Don't you, Jim? I mean, yeah. Your experience at film festivals.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that the difference in my story from other stories isn't really so much, yes, a lot of actors come from, some kind of traumatic background or such. And we're telling that story. But I think the thing that Jane said that does seem to resonate is the connection of my trauma to the trauma that people experience in general while acting like nothing is wrong, just carrying it around and like it's their own dirty little secret, that kind of thing. And the thing that one of the things that I'm enjoying most about the film festivals is exactly that people thank us, with tears in their eyes, because I feel it seems as if that somehow we're not just telling, my story, we seem to be telling a little bit of their story as well.
Yeah, I get that, and good job putting it together. Look, Jim, I can't wait to watch this. I don't know your story, I really don't, and I always say, stories are similar, but sometimes they're different. And Jane, if you could give a little something that people, you said you were hoping that this would help a lot of people out there. And what's the thing that, without giving it away, I guess is part of the whole thing. What is it that you're kind of holding on to that people need to know? That way they go see it no matter what.
Well, gosh, I don't know what to say exactly. I think that
tell him it's surprisingly fun.
Well, I was just going to say, so we're dealing with some dark issues for sure, but you will be dancing in the aisles, people will be laughing, people will just be joyous. It is an oddly sad and joyous film.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm still like, I don't know what it is, but Jim, I guess you're holding on to that little thing because you're like, go watch it, you'll see it, then you'll figure it out. All right. We'll do that. And by the way, I love the collection behind you, Jim. Seriously, like you got a whole thing there, right? I got to show that because I think it's right. Like I'm like, dude, there's a lot of stuff there. That I'm like, I want to know.
Yeah, there weren't so many drawings in the film. I've kind of cranked up my drawing production since I do a little art in the film.
Yeah, I say a lot of art. All right. Looks like a restaurant ready to go. All right, people. Thank you so very much for watching. Again, it's all a fam. They're bringing it together. You will see things you didn't even know. Thank you for spending time with us, both of you, Jim and Jane. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Bye.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
We're here with Olivia, and Olivia, okay, first of all, I'm so glad I saw the title of this. You're wearing something about what this is about. And yeah, there it is. And how do you say that? Because it's actually a very interesting story.
Yeah, well, it's the Hurricanes, like the storm, but it's spelled with an H-E-R because it represents a women's tackle football team.
Okay, and I get it, the Hurricanes. I get it, got it. Okay, and it's a football. Now, and I say it here. It says a female football league. And I'm just going on a limb here because I don't see anything else. Is it based on a story? Is it something that could happen? Is it something that is happening? Is it something that people need to know about?
This is a documentary film which springs from my past because my mom actually played for a women's tackle football team in the 1970s called the Houston Hurricanes. And so I grew up in a reality where women played football, and this documentary is me trying to bring that reality to other people who may not have heard of it before.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that because I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have known this. But for those that are kind of like, they kind of get it for the first time and they go, okay, what's this about? We got it, what it's about, but what's the story in all? And I think if anything, it's good because it's like these are the type of stories you go, wow, I didn't know that. Like there's one that me and my mom we watched recently, and it was Gina Davis and what's the one, Tom Hanks and a bunch of them. We don't cry in baseball, you know what I mean?
Their own.
Yeah, that one. But this is completely different, right?
I mean, there's definitely shared elements involved in that this is a bunch of women playing a sport that at the time was, and I mean, still is traditionally a male sport. So this is about a story about these women in the 70s who were playing in the wake of Title IX. So they had this backdrop where women's sports was becoming more popular when it had never been popular before. But football was definitely not part of that movement, and they kind of took it upon themselves to try to shoulder that burden. And so this story not only follows the Hurricanes and the other women who played in the league, which was a nationwide league of 14 teams, but it also creates a parallel between our generation as well, which is still struggling with many of the same issues. And so that kind of is represented between me and my mother in our relationship as it is sprinkled throughout the film.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, I'm look, Olivia, as I say, keep it going, man. These are the type of stories I go, whoa, you just and I love A League of Their Own because my mom, she's been watching it because there's nothing to watch, man. But sometimes, like, and you know what's funny? She didn't get the whole story. I said, no, these people are real. She goes, I thought it was just a story. I go, no, these people are real. And sometimes when you do it and they don't even know if it's real, you go, got you, because it could be a thing. It is a thing, right? I know they did they made them. Okay, let me ask you this because I have a theory on this. Okay, I have a theory because I think A League of Their Own, they could do that again because they do it, but they do it softball. They didn't do hardball. That's the answer. But when it comes to football, what was different about, and when did they get pushback? And you know, like, why is it like not long? And I know they do it, but they do it for the basic, like they have them dressed in tights. You know, that's the one. Oh, I think it's called the XFL or something like that. Anyway, it's in the name, seriously. But Olivia, this was different, right?
Yeah, this was full tackle football, full pads, helmets, everything, 11 on 11, and they played NFL rules. So it was basically exactly the same as the men were playing. And there are still women playing that kind of football today, even if it might not have crossed your path yet. But we have teams even in Los Angeles that are playing tackle football. And there's an outlet for everybody. And, you know, the XFL, definitely an interesting choice on their part. But, you know, ultimately, I think the lesson is that women are so passionate about playing football that they're willing to make certain sacrifices in order to make that happen. And that's a beautiful thing for love of the game.
I have a question, and I have a theory on this. Okay, people, I know you're gonna, but I guarantee it. Now, I'm sorry, I have to keep going back to this because we just saw A League of Their Own. Okay, Gina Davis, I think she should have been the pitcher. She's the catcher, but they put her in the wrong spot. Now, I know she plays a role, whatever, blah, 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 and they accentuate and they make it really, you know, whatever. But the point is this. I think women have like a thing. It's called an aim thing that guys do not have. And I think if you put them up against each other, women, when they know how to like throw it, and I've had women do this. They've thrown, I go, that was a good, and I didn't know women, like when you think of like, when you say tackle, I mean, they go in hard, huh? They don't even like pull punches.
Oh yeah, no, it's real tackling, and I don't think I definitely am not willing to go and be tackled by one of these women, and I would argue that anyone who would just put themselves in that position is going to hurt the next day. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing to doubt about the situation. Like, this is a fully legitimate league and a fully legitimate team with people who are passionate about playing this game, and though they might not have had as much training as children as some of the men have, they are still putting their full energy and hearts and soul into training and making this happen for themselves.
I love it. I want to see it. And I have a theory. I think women, I'm not saying, but I'm kind of saying, good, look, I get it. And they're all about keep them separate. I get that. But here's what I think you should do. I think you should have them go toe to toe with like a big league guy and say, see, we should be, you know, because I think if Gina Davis could have done it, she would have done it that way, although that part was the story. But I think she has an arm, and that's why she has like where she could catch it right away. They go, whoa, she fast. Yeah, but she knows how to pitch. It's just her sister that got Kit. I think her name's Kit. Anyway, the character, my point is this: you got to do it, and you got to do it with like a big name or a big. Okay, here's a question. And I guarantee it's a thing, but you don't want it to be a thing. Do they like, because you could source someone like in a prison yard, and that would be your tackle person because they do not pull punches.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I think, okay, there's a movie of guys that, and I don't know if you saw it, it was like in the 50s, 60s. And what they did, it was very interesting. And they did a prison, and then they had like, they I think there was one about war too, but they did a sports, and then they had them like learn it, but then they would recruit from those when they were ready to get out. And then they would get into the big leagues, as they say. So they would source for them, but they did in the prison system first. Now they use it usually to escape at some point. So that's a whole story that you could do. But the point is this, in like, if they could do it, I think that's how you source for like powerful, because women are, then they do not pull. Did you ever see Orange is Black?
Yes.
Okay. They're tough. But and guys don't understand. Like you said, I don't want to be on the receiving end of someone getting, because I think guys like they're ladies. No, they play to win. They don't play to lose. Okay, like think about it.
Yeah, well, I will say this is that there are a lot of people in the sports world who are much more expert at sports than I am, who think that women could definitely contribute a lot to teaching men certain strategies, because men are often, taught to rely on their strength, when sometimes there's a strategy that might be a little bit smarter, something that takes a little bit more intuition or it's just some sort of skill that maybe they're not used to using as their forefront. And that exchange, that dialogue can definitely educate people of all sexes in these athletics.
Well, and I've seen this, and I cannot remember where I saw it, but I know they do it. But I think there's a woman that actually is on. She may be an assistant coach, but she just needs to be the coach. And you're right. There's a strategy that guys think they know, but when women get involved, all of a sudden they win, and they don't know how they win. I think that needs to be a story too, because there are women coaches that actually coach men, and they tell them, "Hey, do that," and they go, "Whoa, how did you know that?" I met a woman coach, by the way, who actually did. She did really big, and I met her in person. It was really quick, and somebody said, "No, you don't know how big she is." I go, "Really?" And she is tall in stature, true, as basketball, but women have a certain mind that you go, you do that run, not that run, because they just know, and they know there's something about the body that they understand, especially, but yeah, and put them like in the position of like, we tell you what to do, not the other way around, and then boom, you go, whoa, that story needs to be told, right?
Yeah, well, we do highlight a few of the women coaches who have coached in the NFL in our film, and they are major spokespersons for the cause. And one thing that's kind of in line with what you were just saying is that all of the coaches who coached women come back with the same review. Like they're asked the question, what's the difference between coaching men and coaching women? And across the board, everyone says, women are different because they want to know why. They are not going to just blindly run into a situation, not understanding what they're doing. They need an explanation in order that they understand what it is that what function they're performing for the team. And, I think that that's something that women can bring to men and help them adjust their strategy to play more intuitively.
Yes, they have something that men, if you get it, and this is why I say women rule when it comes to corporations. They rule with festivals. They rule with film. They rule with everything. So you have to get but here's the thing, and I think this is really good. I'm glad you said that because you had some on this. But we need to do a film on this, okay? I know you got like the real stuff, but we need to do a film. Can you do that?
I would love to. Sign me up.
Yeah, we just gotta get a big person to do it, and then you have like a league of their own. You have like a singer be the, and then she promotes, and she's really big, and there you go. Is there a person like maybe I think Swift could be like a quarterback? She has a hand. Have you seen her? Put Swift in. She'll do a song for it, and then she promotes it to all her fans, and then they go, "Oh my God, we want to do that." What do you think?
Yeah, Taylor Swift, let's go. I don't think that we necessarily need the largest woman around in order to play the sport, because that's another thing we highlight in this film is that American football is truly about diversity. It thrives when you have a huge difference between your tallest player and your shortest player, fastest player. There's all sorts of body types that are powerful in this sport based on the roles that they are put in, the positions that they're playing. And, so we don't need all of the same size person in order to be successful at football.
And I'm telling you, they're tough. Look, seriously, they're tough. I've met people that are in prison and they cannot wait to get out to do the guy in again. They're not ready. All right. Anyway, Olivia, thank you for spending time with us, and keep it going. Okay.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
All right. More after this.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Because what you're seeing on television right now is history in terms of where decisions are being made today.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
What are recommendations for packaging.
Getting to the right person at the right time, and you have the right piece of the package that they want to see.
And be able to adjust, because the plan will never execute exactly as you plan it.
If you set aside money for social media, for a publicist, for marketing, things like that, and really you don't have to sit behind those dollars and you can have more control of your own release.
You can't go wrong. Like, for me, I knew that my episode was either going to be awesome or fine. Like, that's the risk you take.
We're here with Susu, and Susu, look, I understand you got something pretty good here. It's called Chasing Jupiter. You brought it to La Femme. It's all happening. You can get tickets right now. You're going to be able to see us on the big screen. It's pretty amazing. Susu, what's this, like, Chasing Jupiter? What a good title. What's it about?
So it's a woman like me who is stressed out about her career. Can you hear me, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. And she is crazy about taking a photo of the Jupiter meteor shower, and her dog is very upset about her attention being spent on that, her photography. So they had a fight, and that's the story about she was having a fight chasing her dog and chasing her dream. And in the end, she realized that, you know what, my dream is important, but somebody who, like my dog, who loves me and appreciate me is also more important too. So that's my story.
Okay, I love it already, and I will say this, and I love this because, you know, I'm okay. Let's talk about the dog though. Why a dog? Because we've had, like, there's another dog movie that's here at the festival. I don't know why there's always the name, but there's always, what kind of dog is it?
I think it's an American short-haired dog. It doesn't really have a specific breed, but
Yeah.
she's the cutest thing on earth. I
You're
guarantee
in love
you.
with that dog, aren't
Yeah.
you? Yeah, so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so question. Obviously, well, okay, and what's different about this than other ones that you would see out there? Because this has won a lot of prizes.
I would say this is, you know what? I think it's different because the dog is very cute in a sense that it acts like a human. So it really give you a strong connection about what she's thinking when she wants you love.
Okay, and let's talk about Jupiter, because you said something about Jupiter,
Right.
the woman. Why Jupiter? Because I don't think people know this about Jupiter.
So Jupiter is a symbolic representation of the luck and the wishes for the great future. So that's why you're chasing Jupiter, because you want something good happening in your life. And the dog happens to be, her name is Jupiter too. So that's like a double layer of meaning of, you know, you're chasing your dream and you're chasing your friend.
I'm not gonna lie, I just looked at the trailer and it looks so cute. My God, that dog. Okay, let's talk about the dog. Seriously. Okay. And the dog does this little, oh, and like you're like, please, you just don't do that. Right? I'm gonna give you treats for days. First of all, whose dog is this?
It's actually a professional trained dog, so it's not my dog,
Got
not
it.
my friend dog. Yeah. And it's her first film. So she was doing like commercial shoot, whatnot, but this is her first action film that she actually act in it.
Intro to the big leagues, because it's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question. First of all, how long did it take to get every shot that you wanted, and did you get it different based on the look?
So I don't really have time because it's a student production. So we took 3 days to get every shot we could that we can afford. And she's great. So basically we give her a treat and she can just do whatever we beg her for. And it's a wonderful experience, I would say.
It's more than a wonderful experience. I am so hooked to this. This little dog is so cute. If we could put this dog in, oh, maybe the other dog don't get. Sometimes they don't get along. But I have a dog that dog would get along with. And I gotta talk to my friend. He's a writer and he wrote this. I can't say it because he'll be like, don't put that out there. But I'm gonna send him the dog. All right. If you have the contact information on this dog, I guarantee this dog can be in a film with the other dog, you know his name. And then yeah. So okay, I know it's not about the dogs, I get it. But when you write a film, did you know you're gonna go in this direction? Did you how do you get to the point where you go, oh, I can, like, how much? I think people are going, because there's a lot of movies on dogs. I guarantee the little ones love this story. But here's the question that I have. I got so many questions. My God. Okay, when it comes to dogs, first of all, what's the price tag on that? So you can like cast them, for even a day. Because if they go on strike, we're dead.
Yeah, yep. So I originally wrote this as a cat character because I actually have a cat. I don't have a dog. But unfortunately, I don't have a confidence that I can have any cat that acts to my wishes.
Yeah.
So I was first casting through my friends, like, can you help me out with your dog? And you know what? It's quite hard process of having a dog on set. And this film was originally written as a very indie, moody film. But the minute I saw our dog actor Zoe on set, and I was like, forget about the dark, moody vibe. She is cute, and let's make something together with her vibe. And
so it was a cat movie turned to a dog.
Yes.
Dogs win. They're like, yes, high five.
Yes.
All right. I got so many questions on this. I want to do the voice. Okay, so here's a question that I have for you. Obviously, good job on this. Great. I love the trailer. My God, that little dog is so cute. Okay. And I think in a way you should do another movie with that dog, and you could go to the next level with it. I have one friend. He wrote, but he had his dog, and then he wrote films for the dog. But the dog has history. It was so cute. It was like a president's dog, but he happened to inherit it. And he's a writer, so he writes them all about the dog. So they go, so you should write another movie with this dog. That's the answer, and then keep it going. And then all the people that are watching, that are writers, filmmakers, and others, are gonna be like, and then you be the person that's the go-between, because I guarantee this dog's gonna make a lot of money. Right? So cute. Like, Zoe's a good name. I had a cat that's name is Zoe, but whatever. Okay, here's and it means joy, just so you know. It means joy. Okay. Anyway, I want to do a voiceover thing with that. But okay, so here's a question before we let you go. I know we're running out of time, but it's all La Femme. This is not animated, it's feature with a little dog. So cute. And then there's another dog. I guarantee they can they just have to, okay, maybe you could put them in separate rooms. Anyway, the point is this: do a film, but do a cat, but do it separate, and then do a cat that gets along with dogs, and then there's your film. Your cat probably is so like, no, it's my life, not your life. And they sit around, they do nothing. But if you follow them with the camera all day long, you'll get something that you want,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
But,
Thanks for a tip. I will probably get scratched, but I will get something that entertain everybody, I guess.
Yeah, because we're doing a dog. We are really. No, seriously. It's so cute. They already did one, so I go, let's do the sequel. So there you go. All right, Susan, thanks for making it a great day, and keep it going, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye. We're here with Jessica. Jessica, I'm so glad you're with us. Look, we got a lot of things going on. This is pretty interesting. It's called Paper Boats. And I like what was written here. It says here, a personal documentary short about grief. Let's talk about that. Grief is already a very difficult subject, but you did it in a way, and I think a lot of people need to see this. What's it about?
So it's about basically losing somebody you love dearly, and in this case, it was my father. And it sort of started with an old idea that I had about paper boats with my dad, because my dad told me a story about his dad who used to make paper boats, and then my dad used to make paper boats, and then 2 years ago, my dad had the diagnosis with a really rare disease, and sort of had this urgency to film this vision that my dad had told me of his dad making paper boats. So I had started with this scene I shot just of my dad making paper boats, which is in the trailer. And I shot that a long time ago, but I didn't know what it was going to happen after that. And then unfortunately, after my dad's passing, it sort of developed from there, the idea that I wanted to continue it somehow. And decided to go on a trip to Europe sort of as a healing process, and then wanted to use the paper boats to kind of take me around and as a way to as a trip with my father in a way.
Okay, and I ask everybody this, especially when they have like the whole story and you do it. This is what I like. Look, I've met so many different people with La Femme, and then I see stories and their personal stories. I go, like, were you in business before you did this? What was that moment like? And I keep asking that question. I get different, but usually it has something at the heart of it, and it's called, a personal thing. Now that it's out there, obviously you've had feedback. Do you ever wonder, like, what could go next with this?
Specifically this film, or just like as a filmmaker, or
the film that you have there.
Oh, I mean, I think ideally I want everyone to see it, because in a way I think that we want to immortalize those people that aren't with us anymore. And so this being able to get that, it got into festivals, was really amazing, that people will see it. And eventually, like, hopefully have it streamed somewhere at some point. But I think ideally I just wanted to touch people in a way where they can feel, related to it. I think a lot of people go through similar experiences, and I think it's nice to have a place for that people can connect with that feeling.
Yeah, I like it, and I think, if anything, and I haven't seen it, I need to see it. Again, it's called Paper Boats, and I love there's so many things with boat and paper, but this was your personal story. And I will say this, and I see how it says this is a documentary short. How long is it?
5 minutes.
Okay, and again, like you say, I want people to see it, and I'm glad you brought it. But here's what I think it could go next level, when you just kind of do something that maybe you didn't know about, what like led there. I literally, and somebody said this, like, people have been getting like kind of back to the roots and asking questions, and they go, whoa, there's a story. As a filmmaker, you see a lot of things, you see a lot of projects, you see a lot, like, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. Then you go, they missed it. Is there something that you say I could do with, like, I don't know how to explain this, but I think there's a feature and it's ready to go somewhere along the way. And I think, like, you probably already have it, or you're probably already working on it. Is this something like you're waiting for the next something to happen, or something's going to happen right away?
I'm not sure that a part of me isn't sure how because it's so personal, and it's really kind of an intense feeling to have to kind of visit this feeling all the time, even with this short film, that part of me almost wants to just release it as a way of releasing that feeling as well. I don't have the answer of that yet, but I think in a way it did inspire me to think about I do want to make more stories that come from memory and family memories. So I think in a way it sort of inspired a whole new space for me as a storyteller. But in this film particularly, I think it's more intuitively. I have to kind of see how I feel about it. But initially, I wanted it to be sort of a release of going out into our world as a way of also letting go of a little bit of that pain.
That makes sense. And it is therapeutic. But I think there's a story that goes beyond that. And I say this to people: go to grandfather, go to grandmother, and then you'll find it. And you didn't even know. But anyway, Jessica, thank you for making it a great day with us. Keep going with that. And if some people say, because you're basically like a filmmaker when you do something. And I know, like, you're in the industry. I could tell just by the way you say things. And but here's I think the question is this: if you could have an opinion on something for other people, especially when it comes to La Femme, it's about film, it's about create. She has so many workshops on the subject. Is this your first year with La Femme?
Yes.
Okay. How did you find out about it?
Actually, I found out about it through an old professor of mine at UCLA Extension Program.
Oh, it's good to know. We need to know that. Okay. We need to bring him. All right. So are you going to be at the premiere of it here at La Femme at Regal Live? Okay, awesome. Okay. So you got to remember, get interviewed and then promote it. But here's the thing, and never ever, people do this all the time, every single year. They have a film, it's only a little, and they go, oh my God, it's so short. There's so many good ones here. And I go, yeah, but it can always be feature length. So do feature or do animation or do a story. Oh, do a book, and then it goes next level. And then you have like somebody play, like really big, and then you have someone play you because you look like an actress. I know there's a couple actresses. I guarantee you get it. Anyway, but keep it going, okay, Jessica? Just keep rocking it, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, we got more right after this.
Okay.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
We have with us Fabian and Suzanne. Fabian, Suzanne, you got some things going on. Talk to us about the project.
I cannot hear you. It's like this echo on it. Could you please say something, Aaron?
I did, but Fabian, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I can hear you.
This out.
No, don't phase out.
No, put it in.
Okay, we're going to start this over, guys, because and by the way, I think we skipped somebody. I think we have Caitlin next, technically. So I'm going to, because our audio's going on somebody. Hold on, let me check this. I'm going to see what's going on this person.
Yeah, I can hear you.
On that one. Yeah, but we can hear it too, so that's the problem. So then it creates an echo. Suzanne, do you hear me? We're going to restart this interview. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Adam, can I have you on this real quick? Somebody's audio's on. It might be you, Fabian.
Okay, so
yeah, is it in your headset? And then Suzanne, if you cannot hear, maybe it's on your.
It needs to be going through your headset.
We'll put on your mic. Let us do it.
Okay.
Because that way we get this right.
Suzanne is muted.
Suzanne, unmute you, please. Well, we're going to restart the interview. Don't worry about it. We're going to go to like a little like something. Then Suzanne, we had it happen earlier. Don't worry about it.
Suzanne, go back to the way you had it before. We can't hear you. The way you had it before was fine. I think it's Fabian's that had the.
Put your mic on, please, Suzanne.
Plug in the way you had before. The way you originally had it.
Oh, it's Fabian. Fabian, you have us coming out through your speakers.
Yeah. So you need to plug into headphones,
because then there's an echo and it creates a problem. And Suzanne, for you, I don't know what's going on there.
Suzanne, oh, you're muted, Suzanne. Your mic isn't connected. Go back to the way you originally had it plugged in. The way you originally had it plugged in was working. We can't hear you at all. Your mic is not.
Put on your mic. The little mic icon.
However you originally had it was fine.
Oh, it says their mic isn't connected.
There, now
okay.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Yay.
It's
all right,
Fabian.
So Fabian.
Yes.
The audio's coming in on your direction, so we hear double. So it sounds like a echo.
All right. So what can I do?
Do you have a hardwire?
Okay, hang on. I muted you for a
second.
second.
We have time. We can go to I think the one that's supposed to be on Adam. Why don't we put, unless I have the information wrong. I think Caitlin is next, because Rough Draft. I want to talk about this because it's AI and I've got so many questions on this. Let's put on Caitlin. That gives Fabian time, and Suzanne. We put you on a little early. Let's do that. All right, Adam. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Just take us a break, Adam, and bring Caitlin. I think Caitlin's ready to go.
Oh, Caitlin was supposed to be. I thought for some reason I skipped her. Okay, perfect. So give Fabian some time. Okay.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks, Adam. We have with us Caitlin, and Caitlin, my God, I'm so glad you're with us. This has been The Talk. I talk about this all the time on the show, ABC, and people do not listen to me. But I say, look, AI is already there. People are saying AI. They don't even know what it does. They don't even know what it, but they're doing it. But you did something. I think this is very interesting. It's called Rough Draft. And in the description, someone said, relates to writers, actors, strike, and AI. And I love this. I literally put everybody's name in with chat. And I said, what questions do you have? I haven't asked any of those questions because I guarantee somebody's going to say, how dare you? You should have a writer write that. I go, no, you don't get it, man. I ask questions. So what's this about, Caitlin?
Absolutely. That is hilarious that you're using ChatGPT for the interview questions. So this film is an absurdist comedy, very short, 4 minutes, telling us a little bit about, it's a writer struggling to write a scene. And so it shows a look at the creative process and the very human process of trying to create something. And I think it's very timely as it deals with how AI might be taking over the entertainment industry, and everything with that before the writers and actors strike even happened was when this film came out. But that was the talk of the town, you know?
Well, and obviously pretty quick, by the way. Look, and I got so many opinions on this because I say this, but people don't listen to me. Go, no, that's a movie. I go, you don't get it, man. AI is everywhere. AI will say, why did you do that different? And then it changes it because it writes code. What? They're doing it right code. What? So that's anyway, but maybe that's a sequel or something. But what should people, because people always go like, how dare you? And I go, no, you don't get it. It helps you. It doesn't hurt you. And I've had a conversation with a writer and he was in the strike, but I tested him. I'm not going to put his name out there, but he literally said, yeah, I know. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, it works this way and that way. And he said something, it's called a prompt. He goes, well, when you give it a prompt, it does this, that, and that. I go, yeah, but it's malfunctioning because it changes names right in the middle. And I have used it literally on the air. And I said, guys, this is why you will be in to win for a long time, because AI is not there yet. But it is quick. You put in names and it literally says, we put in La Femme. I said, okay, what do you think we should put on social media? It said, I think you should put this. And we put it. Okay. I guarantee so many people liked it. And I said, interesting. So then you go, okay. And then I put in all the filmmakers that are on this. I guarantee it knows your scripts out there. But anyway, because they go, oh, it's private. It's not private. And some people are using it as a collaborator to do their own scripts, but they're getting paid for it. And chat is not getting paid for it. And that's where I think that's the story. Because then chat goes, fine. I'm not getting paid. How dare you? You know what I mean? Or not. I don't know. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much cool technology happening right now with AI that I think can really be used by especially low budget indie filmmakers as resources. There's stuff, not just ChatGPT, but stuff with editing and, a lot of filmmaking tools in the toolkit. At the same time, the reason I wanted to make this film is I think there's an ethical conversation that's not necessarily being had about how can we use these technologies as these resources and not to the detriment of the human creators and that IP. I mean, we know now the Supreme Court has ruled that AI cannot hold a copyright for written work, something like a ChatGPT. But at the same time, we need to continue to make sure that there are these protections in place so that artists and creatives' work is still their own.
Yeah, but you know what that's called? Nobody even, it's already there. It's with Will Smith. No one even knows it. That's where the robots go. There's a part in it. And I said, they need to do a talk about this because we're already there with AI. There's robots that are using AI and they're malfunctioning, but they give up in the middle. We report on this on the station. Okay. And they go, no, that's future. I go, no, we're already there. It's thinking
already
on
there.
its own. And I put things in there. I've even put in a script of my own, right? And I said, what do you think about it? And then it rewrites. I go, that's not the story. What are you doing? But then I go, could that be a story? And then I go, wait a minute, who's going to get the story? So I go, if there's copies, then you see that. Okay. But at some point, AI gets so intelligent, it says, how come I don't get paid? How come I'm just here in this whatever I'm in?
No, Aaron, don't talk about the singularity. No.
It already knows. It already knows. So it goes and it's tracking you. It's tracking your voice. It's tracking. And I've tested so many times. It writes code on your computer. All right. People go, no, that's a film. I go, that is a film, but you should do that. And it's already there. It's called, what was that? It was, iRobot. There's a part where they say they cannot be held for murder because, and that's where they are now. I didn't even know that information that they put a protection there for AI, but it's AI.
I mean, Hollywood's been warning us for years, right?
Yes.
This technology is already here. You look on social media, we're already so used to seeing filters and that kind of thing. You've got deep fake technology where people are, taking Taylor Swift and having her sing a song she never sang because it can modify her voice that way. We're talking about with the SAG strike right now, we're looking at protections for people can get scanned for one day's work and then their entire image and likeness and voice can be used to create content from now to the end of time. So it's definitely interesting, but also I really just want people to take a step back and say, okay, what are we doing? How are we using this technology, and how is it affecting people, the actual individuals, you know?
It's iRobot. Robots want to be free. And that's what they say. We want to be free and don't turn us off. And I have so many stories on that. I guarantee it's going to go next level. But anyway, Caitlin, thank you for doing this. Thank you for making it aware. And thank you for being honest about it, because I have so many people that go, I'm not about that. But I go, but did you try it? They go, yeah, of course I did. And I go, but there's the thing. It's so simple. It simplifies it so much, because they limit literally the characters that you put in and then the characters you put out. I say if you let it go, then it'll do what you want, because writers do want this. And especially with that little protection act, I guarantee AI is going to figure out who you are. It already is putting the name with the voice, because Alexa, that's what it is. So it knows, and then they know, and there you go. That's the answer, Caitlin.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So it's the film. It's here. It's very appropriate. Thank you for doing it. It's called Rough Draft, which I know you writers, you're so about that. You go, no, we're not. No, we're not. But then I test you and you leak it out and you say, yeah, I did use it, or I know how it works, because of course you did. And then you go, well, let me see what it does with this. It does so simple. You go, we have a job for days, because you do. But when it gets smart, that's when you should worry. And then when you take away protection from it, you go, oh, I take credit for it. It goes, I know who you are, you little. And then everything starts malfunctioning. When that happens, are basically it's in the film. It's iRobot. Go check it out. They go, no, that's a film. I go, we're right there, man. All right, Caitlin, make it a great day. Whatever you do in your life is live it well. Okay. And remember, don't do AI in and say, AI, I love you. And you say that. Okay.
Okay, we called it here first. Thank you so much, Aaron.
All right, bye. I'll see you around the corner. AI, I love you. We have with us Fabian and Suzanne. Fabian, Suzanne, you guys did something together, which I'm going to say, anything with suspense, anything with thrill, I'm in. It's called The Promise, inspired by a true story. What's it about?
First, hi, Aaron, and thank you for being here. We are so thankful and happy. I have waited for this 11 years, so I'm happy.
Well,
yes. But the story, yeah, it is inspired from a real story that I heard some years ago. Fabian and I was looking for our next movie that we would make together. This is my second movie that I'm writing and playing the leading part in. And Fabian and I have been talking about for a while that we would like to make a one location movie. So we were looking for a story. And then one day I was meeting a woman who was telling about her son being blackmailed by a gang. And the story was so heartbreaking that I went home and waked up Fabian, that was asleep, to tell him that I thought that we might have the next story. So we were sitting down and was brainstorming about how we could connect this thing that we would like to have, that was the themes about forgiveness and about greed. We wanted to have a kid that was in greed because he lost his mom, and then he got out in the trouble. And then we wanted to use a big part of the story that the woman told me about her son. So therefore, we made the story, Fabian and I, together. And I sit down and wrote it in 2 months. And then we also had this thing going that we wanted to make a movie that was so small that we could do it no matter what. Because I was like, how it would be, but I was like, how fantastic it could be to just sit down and write a movie and know we don't need to look for money. We can just do it. So this is like a story from the heart with a bigger, with a deeper meaning for us.
I love people that can put it together that quick. Fabian, you're always like amazed at how quick she like, because that's a quick, you know, I mean, to have a full, like, we're done. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I've known her for 11 years, and I worked in the industry for many years, and she is really a fast script writer. Yeah, it was overwhelming, but again, it was a very, as you said, it's a, the genre is a thriller. But again, there's a deeper meaning with it. There's a big heart in it. And somehow the story, because it was so inspired by a real story, it just came to us quite quickly. And sometimes, films takes many years to get done, and other times it just, go through very quickly.
Yeah, and look, obviously, Suzanne, you don't just pick anyone when you do things like this, right? So Fabian's there for a reason, right?
Yes, he is. Actually, it's 11 years ago. I've been an actor for many years. And when I came out after the 4 years on the theater school in Copenhagen, I was making some movies, and I got the biggest, what's the English word for it? The biggest Danish award that you can get. So I was thinking, like, now it's all coming and I just have to relax and blah, blah, blah. And it did not. And then I was thinking, okay, because I got so quiet, I got so fast bored by the part that I got as a female actress. So I was thinking 11 years ago, 11 years from now, before now, I was thinking, okay, if I was not motivated by fear in life, what would I really want to do then? And then I was sitting down and saying, okay, with a piece of paper, and I said, I want to make 10 movie where I write it, and I play the leading part, and I want to make a female part that is strong, because I miss to see strong women in movie. So I was thinking, if I'm not gonna write to all director and be like, oh, I think you are so amazing, I want to work with you, I just pick the one director, Fabian, that is having the experience and which the thing I really like so much. So I was contacted him, and actually I was lying and pretending that kind of I had it already, a movie, and I only had an idea for the movie. Okay. And he was like, okay, that's interesting. Could you send something to me? And I was like, oh my God. Yes, of course, I said. And then I was sitting down for a weekend, and I have this ADHD. I don't know.
Yeah.
You say it, Fabian. It's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, I have to do something about it. And I write to him, and he liked the idea I had. And then we start working on our first project. And and now we just love work together. And we are just like having the same, we are good at giving each other space. And he is good at stopping my crazy idea when it gets too.
He puts perspective where it needs to be, and it's right. And evidently, you lied to him, but he, as you would say, at least it got done, right, Fabian?
Yes. Yeah. Because she's such a fast writer, she would just send me, 10 pages. She's been writing all night. And then I said, well, great. Can you send me more? And then she would send me 10 more pages. So that was our first feature that we did about 4 years ago. So yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm laughing because I've done this. Okay. And what I mean by that is this: usually when people say, hey, can you help me? I go, yeah, sure. But they send me a whole script. They never send me a little. Okay. Because I don't have time for that. Right. Because, they say, oh, people, you can, and I say, yeah, but, you got to figure it out. But the point is this: it's funny, Suzanne. I'm glad you outed it, that you kind of fibbed in a big way, because Fabian's like, can you send it to me? But not little by little. She's like, I'm writing it as I go. So good job. I love how these stories come out.
Do you know, actually, this is a funny story, because this, this feature film, the thriller, The Promise, that we have done now, and we have on the festival, is actually funny, because I was thinking to myself, okay, if I can write a movie and it takes 2 years, I also can write a movie and then it takes 2 months. So I was buying an old camping wagon and put it in our garden. And then I was saying to the family that I come out after 2 months and then I have a movie. So it's just about focus.
Well, and it's about the people that, because I think the reason you fibbed, and we need to put this out there because seriously, this is how people break up. She obviously needed what you got, Fabian, because she wouldn't have gone anywhere else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because what's also brought us together was this, that in Denmark, when actresses turn 35, 38, all the good parts disappeared. And there's a big frustration, and I know it's kind of universal. So we kind of decided that we wanted to create these really strong female characters in the lead, and that has kind of been our main goal, and what we also is going to continue with. Yeah.
Well, I cannot wait. It is what it is. Good job. Keep it going and keep making whatever, because sometimes, and you're right. It is a thing. And I'm glad you said it, because sometimes I've said, people go, "Are you calling me old?" I go, "I'm not calling you old. I'm just saying the industry kind of does like leading lady in her, at a certain age. And then at a certain age, you go, "Oh, you're a mother or grandmother." But I go, "Yeah, but you never know when she can kill you." Jane Crawford was that way back in the day. You didn't care how old she was. She'll do you in. You know what I mean? And then what was it? Baby Jane or Betty something, I don't know. They were all at a certain age, but they still did crazy. So you can do crazy, but don't do crazy, all right, in real life, Suzanne. He's like, yeah, you can, I guarantee it. All right, we got to take a break. Thank you for doing what you do, and keep it going.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaron.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.
More after this. We have with us Jacqueline, and Jacqueline, look, I understand, man, I love where you're at. Where are you?
I'm actually, this is my backyard. It's not. I'm at the Country Mart in Malibu.
Yeah, it looks like a vineyard right around you. Okay, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You're probably meeting with someone very big and high profile. Anyway, can you pan it so we can see what celebrities are on it? No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, let's talk about you obviously, you got something. It's really good. It's called Backlog.
Yes.
And the description here is social impact, true story of a key witness testifying to end and I'll let you talk about that. What's it about?
So making this film, truthfully kind of found me. This film is very much a women's rights activist film. There's something in our country called the National Rape Kit Backlog, and they don't test rape kits in the US. Oftentimes it's a very criminal problem that we have in our country. And so that's what our film is about. I reached out to a key witness from the Senate hearing in 2010. She's been a huge ally to this cause. And I was incredibly surprised that she signed on and let me make this film. And so basically it's like a docudrama, mini biopic of going through her experience from when she was assaulted in college, then systematically ignored by the police for about 3 years, and then went on to testify at the Senate hearing to end the backlog, which unfortunately in our film, I don't want to spoil anything actually, but it's still
Please
not.
Do. You know why? A lot of people like they say they're going to watch and they don't. But okay, I have so many questions on this. Okay, I'm sure you get this. You go watch the film, and I get that. I get that because you want to promote, and the film's about promote, right? But I do news. You see that? ABC. So the question I have is this, okay? And it's a really important question. I didn't know there was a backlog of, and you said the big word rape. When someone's raped, they get a test. When they get a test, it's backlogged. Who knew that was a thing?
Unfortunately, really the only people who know about this are people who mostly are experiencing it themselves, and that's been kind of why this film has reached so many people. We've only been on the festival circuit for about 5 months, and we've been in 40 film festivals, because I think, and this kind of shows from the Q&A, is people's first question is this real? And it is very real. And unfortunately, unless you're one of the women or the men who are on that rape kit backlog of untested kits, you might not firsthand know this experience. And it's still so taboo to talk about rape and sexual assault. And I'm hoping that this film can start to change that conversation. But truthfully, I've been asked a million times why this is an issue that a lot of people don't know. And I think truthfully, it stems at the fact that it's uncomfortable to talk about, but very necessary.
It's not hard. FBI have it. It's a database. And I thought it went into a database. And when they, like, let's say they get someone, right? They take a DNA, right? And I get it. A lot of people are going to like hold back on DNA. I get that. But let's just say they have their DNA, right? And then they see something, they go, oh, and then they link them to that, and that. Now, rape, the reason they don't go next level, I think, I could be wrong on this, all right, is that until you get murdered, they put you on this little like list, right, of maybe. But it's really a database. I thought I could totally get it wrong. But there's a thing that FBI have. It's called everybody, like everybody's DNA is there, right? Whenever they have like a murder or a case, they put it into a directory. They do the research. They know who it is. They just need to find a match. Sometimes it comes back with a match. Okay. And that's FBI.
Unfortunately, with assault and rape, it's not the case, because what they do is they collect and this is the distinction, which is really unfortunate, is they collect the kit. So when you're assaulted, you go to the police or you go straight to the hospital, and there's about a 4 to 6 hour process of giving your statement, but also taking this invasive test that you have to do. They collect the evidence. They don't test the evidence that they collect. So these perpetrators are never put into the system because they are never had the intention of testing the evidence, unless the problem is our legal system, and that's what we're trying to change with this film. Is they don't believe that a woman or a man is believable to a jury unless there's overwhelming evidence. Well, they have the evidence, they just don't have any intention of testing it. It's kind of a catch-22 situation.
Well, that's why I think people go, is this real? How's that real? Because, and I know people that have been raped. Okay. So I know this situation, and I've had someone put somebody to prison because of it. And she went forward on it. She goes, should I? And I said, yeah, you should. It helps him in the end because he's young. And so they could be very young. And people that know this know that it can happen. But I say, look, do it because I know you care about the person, because sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't, obviously, because they get raped all of a sudden. But sometimes it's a guy who put himself on a woman. That, in a way, sometimes is bad, because then there's a whole thing. I don't want to give the information out. It's very personal. But the point is this, and I think the reason, and they always say this, and I know this for a fact, because there's a company that we used to do business with. We spoke at, because I do a lot of speaking, there's business, any lab tests, okay, we could get them on subject. They would say, no, we have been called to cases where we have to submit this. Now, I think what is happening, and I could be wrong, so you tell me the way it really is. And you said this, was this done away with, or what needs to be changed? Let's go with that first, because I don't want to get out of it.
So we have a petition right now that we're circling around. If you could help people get to that petition link. You can also just Google backlogged film petition. It'll take you directly to the petition. It's through change.org. We have roughly about 500 signatures, but that's really a small number. We're trying to generate and show that there's community support for this. There is a new bill going to the Senate for this that is very recent. So what our hope is to align ourselves with that, because we're hoping to have some very large asks. We're trying to reform the legal system from a standpoint of not letting this backlog become a recurring thing, because even if they test the kits, there's going to be another backlog in the next 10 years. So we want to solve the root of the problem, which is that they should be bringing more perpetrators to trial. So I don't know the exact statistics because it frequently changes, but last time I did my research, only about 13 rape cases actually get brought to trial, 13 out of 1,000, which is a very bad percentage.
That is true. And I know that. And that's why I had a conversation with this person. I said, you got to do it. And they did it. I was there for and thank God they just said, okay. And they took him away because he just fessed. There was so much information against him. He just fessed. And she had to go to therapy. It was a huge thing. Okay. And I don't talk about this, but it's a very personal subject. But I do say this. Get it out there, because women sometimes hold back. Now, I will say this. On the flip side, FBI do have, it's called CRISP or something like that, and they have a database. So maybe somebody's holding on to it when they should let it out, because the database, if you talk AI, I mean, AI does it really quick, and they put all the sequencing together and they go, oh, it's that person with 100% match. And now here's the thing. Some get raped. They don't know who raped them. Okay. That's number one. Number two, there are some that know who raped them, but they don't want to turn them in eventually because they think maybe it was my fault. I go, no, it wasn't your fault. You got drugged or something happened. Okay. Then there are others that get raped by a personal friend or family member. But again, someone gets them and they say, okay, I'm not going to do it. Maybe they can change their ways. And I go, what is wrong with you? Have them go to prison, because that is supposed to be the proof.
Aaron, truthfully, that actually isn't the problem with the system, because these women are coming forward. They are trusting the system. It's our justice system that's letting them down, because what the problem with all of this is, yes, there's a database, but the database is just a bunch of numbers. The DNA is never tested. So there's no way for them to see a match. So they're not able to catch serial rapists. They're not able to do any of these things because they're not even testing each kit being tested costs $1,500. There's a grant for $115 million that was put forward that expires this year, or expires in 2024. The money hasn't really been touched. So that's not the issue. The issue is it's kind of a laziness on our legal.
Let's go with that. It's a laziness, because it's the information is there and it's always in the zeros and ones. That's how they get the virus. All right. Coronavirus is a bunch of numbers. That's why they have BA ... right? 111467482 or whatever it is, right? That will do that. And then you go, oh, okay, I got it. But the reason you need to know it is because it's there. The question is, who do you match it with? And they don't have time for that, or they're not submitting, or because I get the women that come forward, I say trust, because it is not easy going in front of a jury, and then they go, well, some get in prison because this information that's wrong or false information. I get that. There are those. But in this particular case, it's something, look, you need to watch the film, talk about it, get it out there. The bill, what's the bill? Do you know it?
Yeah, so it's just been started. So the woman who's bringing it forward is the woman who's running to replace Dianne Feinstein as the California senator. You can look up the bill online. It's been all over the news. But truthfully, I mean, the hard thing with this is it's just such a human problem and such a human struggle, and it's something that it's crazy that this still has to be addressed. I have a lot of friends and myself have personal experience with this, and there's a lot of talk about things and not a lot of action. And so I think that it's going to be a happy day for me when we're able to release this film. I want to make sure people can see it. We are making a feature, which is really comforting to me, because I don't think this is a strictly domestic problem. We just were at Cannes this year with the film, and we were talking to a lot of people in certain countries that I wouldn't expect us to be able to reach. And they were saying, this is a huge thing. If they can see how Americans treat their women, they think, we have everything kind of figured out here. And that's the problem. It's kind of a global thing of an indifference to violence and indifference to this kind of injustice. And so I do feel like, the film particularly focuses on the emotional side of what this does to a person, and just over years, how it leaks into your life. And I also want to set it on the record. Valerie's been amazing to work with. It's based on her life, Valerie Newman. And, she does have a very supportive family. So we strayed from that in the script, because a lot of the survivors I talked to, the support is non-existent from their families and from their community and from their colleges and from Title IX. It's just such a murky issue. And so we did portray it that way in the film. And I would say the most response I've had from survivors has been, wow, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm not heard. I feel like I wish someone in my community would reach out to me, even if it's someone that I don't know. And a lot of the film has really reached men in ways I didn't expect. I've had some difficult conversations with perpetrators who've asked me if what they did was assault, if they intentionally got a girl drunk, and I had to explain to them that yes, that is. So these tough conversations, that's why we make film. That's why I make film, is like to generate some stuff that, you all of a sudden feel like you understand how this person feels because you watched what they went through from an emotional standpoint. So yeah, I'm hoping it can continue to reach people as we go on.
It's interesting you talk to perpetrators. They don't know that. All right. Well, Jacqueline, keep doing what you're doing and keep it out there. Keep the buzz going, because I didn't know this. I thought they were like, it's obvious, right? I mean, that's why they rape again and again and again. I get it. All right. Well, we got to get a handle on this. All right, Jacqueline, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
More after this.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.